And it's going to be a penalty. Paul Ryan taken down, the substitute who came on at half-time. Here we go, and it's saved, and it's saved well. Very, very good defending. I think it was JJ Delaney who got his stick to it. Yeah, it was JJ Delaney who got his stick to it. Lots of pressure on. Henry Shefflin's in, trying to scoop it past the goalkeeper. And another goal. Aidan Fogarty this time. Only minutes after coming on as a substitute, the man with a nose for a goal gets Kilkenny's third. Aidan Fogarty, the one who puts it in past the goalkeeper here. Big, huge one down. Fogarty in there challenging. McCartan in the white helmet. Again it races clear here. There's another opportunity for a goal here into the back of the net. And a very, very late flourish by Kilkenny. And another one. And Aidan Fogarty has got a second. What a sub to bring on. And now that's 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes for Aidan Fogarty. Because the final whistle sounds at Croke Park, and it's a very convincing win for Kilkenny, the champions, on their way to another Leinster final. The final score here is Kilkenny 4 goals and 19 points, Dublin 12 points.
Probably the crucial score then at the end of the day was Richie Power's goal in the second half. You know, that kind of lifted us a small bit and put a fair bit of breathing space between us, but it's certainly strange to win by that much because there wasn't that much of a difference at all.
People now will say Dublin back to square one, but with the try now, we'll have Clare or Limerick or Cork, whoever loses there, and try and get ourselves ready for that. That's all we can do, and be as ready going into that and make as much progress through the backdoor route as we possibly can. It's going to be hard to pick it up, but we have to try and pick it up.
Bit of a gulf there today, Ger.
Oh, well, it was more than a gulf. The Atlantic Ocean, I suppose, was between them today's days, you know. But it started off, you know, kind of lethargic enough. Kilkenny's touch was a bit lacking. Their sharpness, especially in attack, wasn't the greatest. But right from the start, it was clear that their ability to win ball in the air was way better than Dublin's, you know. And that is the real area where Dublin are falling down. But the biggest contrast was in the contrast of tactics. You know, Kilkenny played their 6 defenders, their 2 midfielders. Dublin played with 7 defenders. Now, the ironic thing about this, and we see the highlights here, especially the goals, every time Kilkenny got a goal, their men were clear on goal. And even though they had 7 defenders, Kilkenny had only 6 defenders, but every time a Dublin man attacked, there were at least 5 defenders behind the ball. So here's the first goal here. Lovely ball laid on by TJ Reid, and of course Eddie. This is food, meat and drink to Eddie Brennan. Now this is the best goal of the game. Richie Powers, beautiful individual goal. But watch for all of them. Everybody watching. Nobody behind the full back line. Even though they have 7 defenders, there's nobody there behind them. And really, for Kilkenny forwards, they're not going to make a mistake when they come into a position like this. And you know, you could bring on a fella like Aidan Fogarty, you know, who has so many All-Ireland medals. He can come in and clean out. In the defence, you just watch every time the ball went into the Kilkenny defence. There were at least 6 defenders behind the ball. And the role, what you really have to watch is the role of Tommy Welch and JJ Delaney. Like, you know, Anthony Daly or anybody else, there's a lot to learn for Dublin after today as well. You know, that if you want to beat a Kilkenny full back line, you have to get the ball as fast as you can before the cavalry arrive. And the cavalry are Tommy Welch and JJ Delaney. They're drop back into that, they drop back into that full back line. How many balls did Tommy Welch pick up today behind the full back line and cleared? He was just brilliant. And who did he pass them to on the full back line? JJ Delaney. And then the 2 midfielders come back into their position, a half back, to collect the ball from them. And then it's delivered to the forwards. They don't need an extra defender. So if Dublin look at that and look at the folly for them of playing 5 forwards against the 6 best defenders you'll ever see. It's easy to see why they're losing matches and not alone losing but being beaten out the gate.
All right, Donal, you took a look at Dublin for us. I did, Des, and I must say I was disappointed with their overall display because I was expecting a bit of fire and brimstone from them. I mean, they played with 7 defenders last year and they came out at the 6 points. But when you get a chance against Kilkenny, you have to take them. And that year, Cahill might have been better, to knock the ball out to McCrabb and he had a simple score. And again, when Liam Rush turned Hickey this time, Alan McCrabb was in the square. Should have been back maybe a few yards to give maybe a better angle. But they were 2 good chances if they had scored those. And in defence, Niall Cochran here, the rule in defence is get it out to the sideline as fast as you can. That could have been curtains at that stage. And we see, Joey Boland driving out here, right? But there's nobody coming off him. There's nobody, right? Lost the ball very easily. Liam Rush kicks it out and is picked up by Kilkenny. They were flat all the league, right? And apart from, we say Gary Maguire was excellent in defence, he made 3 or 4 great stops, and but for that they'd have been beaten out the gate. But as I said, brilliant stop again there. As I said, I was surprised by, they were a little flat. There was lack of support play. There was a lack of in-your-face type of game that you need to play against Kilkenny. I'd have preferred, if I was a Dublin fan, to go out, try your best, get in their faces. Even if you only lasted 30 minutes, at least you came off, felt you give a performance. I think they'll be very disappointed after that. All right. One positive from today that should be noted is Henry Shefflin became the leading scorer of all time in the hurling championship. Tommy Dunne, you would have played against Henry at some stages. What can be added to the tributes paid to Henry Shefflin?
Well, sure, very few, Des, really, because he's a wonderful player and he's been getting compliments all his career, and rightly so. And
what's his biggest asset?
I think his biggest asset is his honesty on the pitch. I mean, I remember going up to see Kilkenny and Galway play in I think the All-Ireland semi-final in 2007. We took up the Tipperary minor team just to get a feel for Croke Park, and Galway put up a huge challenge to Kilkenny on the day. And Henry didn't score all that much on the day.
He didn't score at all, you're right.
But he had a terrific game.
Work rate.
Oh,
he's right.
His work rate, his honesty, his hooking, his blocking, and it was a brilliant game for us and for the Tip young lads to see this side of a player who we know can score goals and points galore, and he's just so consistent. But I think his honesty on the pitch is...
And his leadership across this, watch all the big games they've been in when they've been under pressure. When he needs a free to put over the bar, watch against Tipperary last year after Benny Dunne been sent off. Ball over the bar from inside his own half-back line. Generally, in big games, he gets the first few scores. His work rate is incredible. Apart from his scoring, his work rate, his honesty, his leadership, the leadership that he gives to the team. And I suppose the best thing of all about him is, if he wasn't in the Kilkenny team, people would regard him as very, very beatable. And that says everything about his greatness.
Right. Let me take it back to Dublin for a moment. Was there too much made of Dublin last year, in the sense of expectations growing then for this year, Donal?
Well, I say that the hardest challenge for Dublin this year would have been to increase from last year, to get up another notch, and I think they've been flat all the league. They've been beaten by teams that they were beating last year, but I would have felt for this game that they would have planned for this game and really put their heart and soul into it. Okay, they struggled over Laois, but that they knew that to play Kilkenny, and a big performance was what was needed, and at least that would determine the year. Then at least at a good performance, they could see where they were. They'd use that as a benchmark. And as I said, I think that they don't know where they are now.
But above all, I think they need to forget about systems. They need to abandon this thing. It worked for Anthony Daly in 2005. That's 5 years ago. It doesn't take Kilkenny 5 years to learn,
Okay.
They're much smarter than that. And I think if they get the ball to that forward line much faster, and as well as that, give the players responsibility for winning their own ball. Kilkenny players win their own ball. Forget about systems or crutches. Put the onus on every player. Win your own ball against your opponent. And if they do that and work hard at that, then they can still make progress.
All right then, thanks for that, Jay. Now to move on to the second of this afternoon's Leinster semi-finals. Could Offaly upset the hot favourites Galway? Well, watching this one was Darren Frehel.
Galway manager John McIntyre has made 2 changes from the team that beat Wexford in the Leinster quarter-final. Andy Smith misses out because of suspension. Angus Callanan takes his place at wing forward. Ger Loughnane is recalled to the full forward line. He replaces Joe Gantley in the corner. Offaly have been sweating over the fitness of a number of key players. James Rigney has won his race to be fit. Stephen Egan is the only change in defence. Michael Verney's the one to lose out. Dylan Hayden is preferred in midfield to Kevin Brady. Derek Malloy is fit. He's named at wing forward. And veteran Brendan Murphy replaces Daniel Currams in attack. David Collins. Long ball down towards Damien Hayes. Hayes against Derek Morgan. Should be a good battle there. Hayes takes the turn around his marker off the left side, and Hayes with the first point of the afternoon at Croke Park, coming in the second minute of the game. Canning again is underneath this one. Falls to Ger Loughnane. Gathers it at the second attempt. Opens up here for Tannian, and he makes no mistake from a tight angle. Straight over the bar. Offaly now with a scoring opportunity of themselves.